Harriet Tubman being added to the $20 bill has also brought out the haters. And the first and perhaps highest profile so far of them is Ben Carson.
The Treasury has announced that Andrew Jackson is getting kicked off the $20 bill. Harriet Tubman, the African-American abolitionist, is going on. I don't know where Andrew goes now. But what do you think of that? And what do you think of Harriet Tubman getting on the face of U.S. currency?
Well, I think Andrew Jackson was a tremendous secretary. A tremendous president. Andrew Jackson was the last president who actually balanced the federal budget, where we had no national debt.
And here he gets kicked off the $20 bill.
Right. So in honor of that, we kick him off of the money.
But are you anti-Harriet Tubman?
No.
Okay.
I love Harriet Tubman.
Right.
I love what she did. But we can find another way to honor her. Maybe a $2 bill.
Right.
Or maybe...
Or give him the $2 bill, or whatever. But resolve it that way. All right.
Okay, no, I got a better idea. Why don't we put her on a bill where she would be equal to 3/5 of $20? Oh, God. Maybe like a $12 bill, Ben. I mean, look at how insulting that is. And that's his whole point. The whole point of Ben Carson is to say to white people, you're so right. We shouldn't have that black lady on the bill. Andrew Jackson was a great president. Yeah. You white people, right-wingers, you're so right, right? I mean, a black person, a woman, maybe a $2 bill.
Yeah.
You know, maybe but not a $20 bill. She doesn't belong there.
Yeah, and look, it's terrible, but that's why he's allowed to be on there. I mean, if he was speaking out in favor of her and what she represented and how terrible Andrew Jackson was, he wouldn't have been on the show to do that. I mean, and out of those two, by the way, he says she should be on the $2 bill. The other jackass at least says, well, then just put Andrew Jackson on the $2 bill. At least he's conceding that she should be able to stay on the $20 bill. Ben Carson's actually more wrong than him.
But you're right about why he's on there, because Neil Cavuto starts the segment with Andrew Jackson kicked off the $20 bill. Look at the framing, right? And then I don't know where he goes. What does that mean, right? Bills change all the time in all the different countries. Like, where do they go? They stay where they are in history. You don't have to replace that person and put him on a different bill. We don't have to invent a $3.50 bill so that Andrew Jackson can go somewhere.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. I have an idea of where he can go, and I think he's there right now. I actually don't believe in hell, but if it's there, it's good that he has a home. So look, Ben Carson is obviously ridiculous. We shouldn't be surprised that this is the role that he has staked out for himself in the Republican Party after leaving the presidency. But I also like the reaction because it's a nice reminder. People love to make the point. Bill O'Reilly loves to make the point. We have Obama as a president. So clearly there's no more racism in America. Everybody knows that. And yet, in 14 years, Harriet Tubman is going to be on the bill. And you go on Twitter and you realize, oh shit, no, there's a ton of racism still in America. So we have this. So as the USA becomes a third world shithole, the $20 bill goes ghetto. Goes ghetto. Wonderful. We have the replace man who hated banks with commie slave stealer on cotton banknote, 7-layer dip of irony. Okay.
These people actually appear to be pro-slavery.
They're pro-slavery.
In the year 2016, they're outraged, oh, now you're going to mess with our traditions, and you're going to get this commie who was in favor of stealing slaves and making them free, right? And that's what you're going to do to our traditions.
Oh, and should we be surprised? I mean, we saw over the past couple of years, it's constantly brought up. They bring on the scholars, the people who've written about it, saying, you know, slavery's gotten a really bad rap. A lot of those people were really happy, and they were protected by the slave owners and given a home by the slave owners. It's all of you libs trying to shame them, to say that they were doing something wrong, but they're completely serious when they say that. And so then you get a bunch of their viewers who grow up thinking, oh, well, I was always told growing up that the Confederacy was great. There was nothing wrong with it. And so now Harriet Tubman, she is a thief. She steals property when she frees slaves.
So that goes to the heart of right-wing grievances, right? Which is, I got to rule over everybody else before. Now you're changing the rules on me. Every bill had white men on it. And I'm a white man, and I'm right-winger, and I love that. Now you're saying one bill gets to have women on it, and it's an African-American? Well, you've taken my freedom away. See, I had the freedom to own them. I had the freedom to be on every bill. I had the freedom to rule everything.
Yeah.
Now, when you guys want that same freedom, well, you're a commie and you're stealing my property, right? And they're thinking this in the year 2016, right? So their grievances, and they feel like they're the victims. That's why it's so ironic when they say, "Oh, liberals, they have the victim, mindset." No, you guys do.
Yeah.
Oh, this one bill they took away from us. Now white men are on every other bill except one. Oh, we're the victims. Women are 50% of the country. They're not allowed on one bill.
They're more than 50% of the country.
That's right.
Yeah.
African Americans are 12 to 13% of the country. So overall, that's 57% of the country, right?
Yeah.
They're not allowed to be on one bill, but if you do that, you took my freedom away. You took my freedom away. Let me see what I got here. I think I got it here somewhere. Harriet, why did you do this to me?
Yeah, people think that Fox News produces television shows. It actually just produces victims of the white variety, of the Christian variety. If you're forcing me to make money by selling a cake to a gay couple, my rights are being infringed upon. Mixed with a little bit of, I've noticed over the past year or so. I want to run through a couple more of these because mostly just I want to make fun of them. Removing a white from $20 bill to replace with a mudskin is an act of war on whites. Wake up, white man. No, you should wake up, I think. Harriet Tubman on a bill. This is why no one carries cash anymore. Yes, no one carries cash anymore because it was announced today that in 14 years, Harriet Tubman will be on the bill. That's why I ditched cash 2 years ago. That makes sense to me.
When I was
Twitter
at the grocery store the other day, I was like,
Yeah.
Harriet Tubman's going to be on this 14 years from now. Forget it, I'm using my credit card.
Yeah, I've thrown away so many 20s in protest. It's costing me a lot, actually. Let's see. This is just an example of what we have to face on Twitter almost every day. Replace a president with Harriet Tubman for no reason. Okay. You can't simply just assert something. That's not an argument. For no reason? No, you don't agree with the reasons. The reasons still exist. This is why it's so frustrating trying to reason with people on Twitter.
But again, that goes to, for them, it's no reason at all because the right order of things is we rule and you bow your head.
Yeah.
So if you don't bow your head anymore and you want to get on this bill, and like you want to be part of the power structure of this country, no, you don't have any power. So if you are desirous of that, that's for no reason at all.
No reason. No gain.
reason.
There's nothing.
Yes.
And then finally, this is a pretty graphic representation of what we're working with on Twitter. Give me a bill that looks like this. It's going back into circulation looking like this. I would love to just sit down with the person and say, why? Why would it go back into? What do you gain by defacing the bill? Which, by the way, I don't think anyone's going to accept that bill after you've defaced it in that way. So you're probably just costing yourself $20. It's just frustrating to see this. The small, like, you could try to pitch this, and some people are pitching these changes as a nod to adding diversity to the bills. When you think about how many bills there are, how long it's been the way it is, and for some people, anything, any change, the Santa bills, if they were to put someone else on, that's too much. On a penny, that would be too much. There are some people that cannot allow a single change. Their worldview is too fragile. They live in a Fabergé egg, and it's being constructed for them every day by Fox News.